Hey everyone, my name is Mario, and today I want to show you how I built a stuffed animal cage, and that is Evelyn. Mama, ¿por qué te ríes?
I started off by cutting a 1/2-inch thick board of plywood into more manageable pieces. I used plywood because this is what I had left over from a previous project, but you can use different types of wood, such as dimensional lumber. This long piece you see me cut in half is approximately 16 inches wide, which is 1/3 of a full sheet of plywood. After that, I took the two boards to the table saw and ripped them down to 3-inch wide strips. I knew that my height was going to be around 47 or 48 inches tall, about half the length of a sheet of plywood. So I set aside 8 of those pieces, which are going to make up the vertical corner supports. As for the width and depth, I figured a final dimension close to 20 inches by 16 inches will look good. So I cut 2 14-inch plus pieces and 2 10-inch plus pieces from this other board. I also ripped them down to 3-inch wide strips on the table saw, and then I used the miter saw to square off the ends before I cut them to length. Squaring them allowed me to properly use a temporary stop block. I cut 6 pieces to exactly 10 inches and another 6 to 14-inch long strips. Here's what I had after cutting all the boards down to length. You ever left your glue out in freezing temperatures? Luckily, I had the gallon-sized bottle indoors, so I put some of that in a small plastic storage bag and used it like a piping bag. For each of the vertical corner supports, I used 2 boards. I added glue along the edge and then nailed the second piece using the nail gun. I first used a square to make sure the boards were perpendicular to each other, but then I realized I didn't really need it. By the way, I can't take credit for this because I read it online in one of the Facebook maker groups I follow, but someone asked, "Do you ever wipe glue off your finger under a table like if it was a booger?" Well, a few days later I was editing this and came across this. Haha, I guess I do too. If you do too, let me know in the comment section. Okay, back to this one. Now that I had the 4 vertical supports assembled, I used the pocket hole jig to drill 2 pocket holes on each end of the 12 horizontal pieces. I placed the 4 vertical supports on their sides and clamped them together so I can mark where I would place the middle horizontal pieces. To assemble the cage, I connected 2 corner supports by screwing the 14-inch horizontal pieces at both ends and the middle. I did the same with the other 2 vertical supports and then connected those 2 with the 10-inch pieces. I added a base to the cage for 2 reasons. First, to keep the stuffed animals from touching the floor or falling out if we picked up the cage to move it. And second, it adds strength to the cage. As you can see, I didn't have a piece big enough, so I brad nailed 2 pieces of plywood to the base while I kept the cage squared and then flipped it upside down to cut off the X's with the circular saw. After this, I sanded it and smoothed out the edges. Then I added a couple of coats of paint. I have to admit, foam rollers are really growing on me, especially for small projects like this one. When the paint had dried, it was time to add the bungee cords. I used a total of 10 cords, 2 per short side and 3 per long side, with about 3 inches between them. To attach the bungee, I measured the length from the bottom of the cage to the top, tied knots on each end, and then stapled it at the ends and the middle. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Then I did the same with the other 9 bungees. By the way, if you don't have a staple gun, you could also use eye hooks or drill holes and thread the bungee through the frame.
Thanks for sticking around. Now we have a better way to organize our daughter's stuffed animals and keep them from spreading everywhere. Well, almost everywhere. Another great benefit of having this cage is that they don't have to work too hard in order to get their favorite stuffed animals. Even Evelyn agrees. So, if you like what you saw, please don't forget to like, comment, and share. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. That way you don't miss any future episodes. Thanks. See you next time. Tell them, baby. Hey everyone, my name is Mario, and today I wanted to show you how I built this stuffed animal cage. Hey everyone, my name is Mario, and today I wanted to show you how I built this stuffed animal cage. Hazel, Evelyn.